Welcome to the Female Founder Friday podcast, a collection of inspiring conversations with the most interesting female entrepreneurs and small business owners. I'm your host, Lindsay White, and together with my incredible guests, we'll explore the struggles of being a female entrepreneur, the most important lessons, and the future of women leaders in business. And I'm really passionate about helping female entrepreneurs become the calm, confident leader their team and their business need. And that's why I've recently launched my 6-week mental fitness bootcamp. This amazing program will help you tackle your inner critic, tame your saboteurs, tap into your sage inner voice, and increase your positive intelligence. With a combination of a daily practice in the custom app, a weekly focus to increase your awareness, and regular group coaching sessions led by me, you'll build the mental muscles you need to quickly overcome the changes and challenges you're facing right now. If you're ready to transform your leadership and your life, connect with me today at highvoltageleadership.ca/positive intelligence to learn more. On today's podcast, my guest is Ashley Holmes. Ashley had a huge pivot during COVID. She went from being a full-time yoga instructor, thinking that she would love to create her own studio and community, to doing nothing at all. But the space that came with the COVID lockdowns turned into an amazing silver lining, and it gave her the time and capacity to think about what she really wanted to do. And that's to support women in their struggles with fertility. Now, as a fertility coach, Ashley loves to help women reconnect with their own inner power in their fertility journey, listening to their body, supporting their mind, and really reconnecting to their spirit in the process. She's also a contributing author to a new book called The Sacred Dance: Wisdom from Leaders Living a Soul-Led Life, which is truly a dream come true for her. We've got a lot to chat about in today's episode, so let's get to it. Brilliant. Ashley, welcome to the Female Founder Friday podcast. I am so glad you could join me today. Thank you so much for spending some time here this afternoon.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Well, I want to jump right in and learn a little bit more about your journey to being a female founder, because I think it's a cool story.
Sure, I'd love to share. I think my journey chose me, and I just had to honor that, and I had to step into that. And COVID made me sort of make that pivot from just teaching yoga and meditation and realizing that I wanted to be my own boss, and I wanted to work from home, and I wanted to be able to be there for my kids, and also to be a holistic fertility coach, to be able to help women who aren't getting that support out there. They can get medical support and they can get physical support, and there's nothing else along the journey with them. And I felt very alone in my journey, as I'm sure most people struggling with infertility do. And just offering ways to help cope and deal with the stress and be able to process everything that's happening along the way and find some peace within and some hope and the ability to keep on going and keep on trying.
I love it. I love it. So back it up here just a bit. So you were, before COVID, you were working as a yoga instructor, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, being in studios, and I rented space sometimes when my husband got a different job and wasn't, really home during studio hours very much, and was trying to make it work for me as best I could, but realizing that, looking at the big picture and long term and what I really want for my life and what I want my life to look like, and building a business from there, making it work for me instead of the other way around, just realizing that is possible, and that suits me way better and my family better, and brings a lot more balance into our life than, going at it the other way.
Right. So I'm sure as a yoga instructor, a lot of your time was in the evenings, weekends, that kind of stuff. Is that sort of what you're talking about, got in the way of that blending of the work and the life and, that kind of thing? Is that sort of what it was?
Yeah, just trying to find those, snippets of time to make it fit in, whereas it's much more easily, and I can use my time so much more efficiently when I'm the boss and I'm in charge. I can I get up every day at 5 a.m. now before my kids wake up, and that's my choice, and that's my quiet time, and that's how I start my day. And it has been over a year of doing that, and it's just been such a shift of, show up for myself and then be able to show up for everybody else that much better.
Yeah,
And
totally.
yeah.
Yeah. So then, I mean, and I am friends with and work with a variety of health and wellness practitioners. And so COVID must have brought all of that like right to a stop. But as you said, it really changed your focus too. So what was the shift when COVID hit, Ashley? What was that?
Well, originally, I thought I was going to open a studio. And
Mm,
now in hindsight, it's like, I am so grateful that I didn't, as I
right.
have seen all these studios where I live being closed, being open and shut, having to modify with all of these restrictions.
Yeah,
And, as a brand new studio, would I have made it? I don't know.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a blessing in disguise. I was divinely guided and everything has turned out as it is meant to. So just trusting that you're going to end up where you're meant to be.
Yeah, isn't that interesting, Ashley, that first of all, that what we thought was our dream, it
Mm-hmm.
actually isn't the dream. Like it can change just because that's always, oh, I always thought I would open my own yoga studio. Well, that doesn't mean it's the only version of the dream that is possible. Because you're right. Had you opened a studio, it could have ended up bankrupting you, right? Like that's what some people have faced through COVID. So, and then isn't it interesting that, the universe just sort of provides us what we need when we really need it, not necessarily on our timeline, right? But
Absolutely.
when we need it most. So I really love that it, COVID gave you, it really, there was a gift there for you through all of this last few years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, been the silver linings for sure. And then, the universe has also provided me with so many other opportunities. And it's like getting out of my head and thinking outside of the box of how things need to look and how they need to show up. And there was an opportunity to be an author in a multi-author book.
Mhm.
And at first I said no. And I was like, wait a minute, I've asked for this. It's a dream of mine. And then it falls into my lap. And I'm thinking, it's December. There's a 3-week timeline. I don't have time for this. And then I'm like, I coach people on honoring your truth and your heart and, you know, trusting your intuition. And I'm saying no to myself when I'm telling everybody else to say yes to them. And I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Listen to yourself. And so I followed that path. And yeah, the Sacred Dance Wisdom from Leaders Living a Soul Led Life is coming out on Amazon March 4th. And it has just been a supportive community where we have, dropped into meditation and written, and it all just flowed. It is the easiest thing I have ever done. It was effortless and it didn't even feel like work.
Oh, lovely.
So, like, follow your heart and trust your intuition and get out of your heads.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, and I think, that's really what you do. I mean, you are a yoga instructor, but your real passion now is around being a fertility coach. Yes?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's so many people struggling, like 1 in 6 women are struggling with infertility in Canada. It's a huge number, and they're often suffering silently, and they're giving away their power really to the medical field and thinking that's the only thing that they can do. That's what I thought. If I can't get pregnant using the fertility clinic, then I can't get pregnant. And it's not the truth, it was a limiting belief.
Yeah.
And I proved that to myself. And it's just like, there's so much you can control. There's so much you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's a holistic approach of mind, body, spirit, and getting everything working together so you feel the best. So you're in your optimal state of health so that you can conceive.
Yeah. And this was a personal journey for you though, right? Like this came out of your own experience. If
Oh,
I
absolutely. I struggled to conceive and eventually did with a fertility clinic. But what took me years took me months. When yoga and meditation entered my life, I just came into balance and alignment and had the most like awakening moment of my life, and was like, that's why it was such a struggle before. That's why,
Right.
like,
Right.
I get it now, but I needed to be there in that moment to get it. And, have that light of awareness shone of how I was holding myself back, how I needed to let things go and just release what wasn't serving me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, someone saying this is what's wrong with you or this is what you do. It was just that inner awareness and stillness for myself. So no one's broken, no one needs fixing, but you may need someone to hold your hand and show you and guide you shifts and changes you can make in your life that would better serve you and support you for where you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you made a really, really important point, and one that I resonate with. I mean, the coaching work that you and I do is similar, but we just serve a different client. And this idea that you're not broken, like there's nothing wrong with you. And I can see, knowing, friends and colleagues that I have that have struggled with infertility, because like you said, 1 in 6, that's a pretty big number, that they, as women who cannot conceive, I can imagine that you would feel like there was something wrong with you, that you were broken in some way. And I love this idea of showing these incredible women that like there's nothing wrong with you. There's some things you need to organize and, I love the body, mind, spirit, like get yourself lined up here. And that's a similar approach that I take, Ashley, when I work with female entrepreneurs that want to be a great leader in their life and in their business. Like there's nothing, you're not broken. I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to help you see, what is really true for you. And so I love, we totally have that sort of same philosophy, just applying it in a different way, right?
Absolutely. It's just been such a blessing for me to, and that's why I do yoga meditation every day, is because I have seen in every aspect of my life how it has changed me and my life in the most wonderful ways. And it's like, I'm going to honor that. I'm going to honor what this did for me in my life. And I'm going to help other people see what it can do in their life. And if they don't want to do it every day, that's fine. That's their choice, but it's available to them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like or be a certain way. It's
right.
like, get on your mat and all is coming. And that's literally all I do. It doesn't matter the poses I do. I'm not rigid about what it has to look like. I listen to and honor my body finally, after not for decades, right?
Right.
Yeah, I was, and I wasn't, and it actually took me getting pregnant the second time to listen to my body, to learn how to breathe properly, because I had to slow down. I was teaching hot yoga at the time and couldn't figure out why I was getting headaches after class. And then it was like, wait a minute. Yes, I'm pregnant. I need to stop doing this because my body doesn't like it. This doesn't serve me. And I don't need to be in a hot yoga studio to do yoga,
Right. I love that though. And I think you're right. I think our body has a lot to tell us, doesn't it?
Yes.
We are kind of trained away from listening to that. We're trained, the conscious mind and critical thinking, and that's not bad, but it's not the only way we can receive information. Our body has a lot to tell us. Some of the technique that I use, not nearly as much as your yoga and meditation practice, but certainly in the coaching, is like, how does that resonate in your body? Where do you feel that? Because that can give you really great clues to what you might not be accessing or, understanding consciously. When we tap into that, I think we get new insights into ourself, right?
Very much so. Like, really getting out of your head and into your body. And I didn't know before where I held stress, where things showed up for me. And now I do. And it's like you can course correct that much quicker, that much easier when you can see that, I know I hold stress and tension in my shoulders. So, if my neck is sore or, I feel locked up in between my shoulder blades, I know that's where I need to focus my attention and my practice. And so I would have a heart opening practice. I would do that for myself and, open my throat chakra and, work with what is showing up for me instead of just forcing myself and ego and all of the things that don't actually serve me.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I think that is so important. And you just need to start. You just need to kind of start listening. Like you said, it doesn't have to be big or complicated. Just listen. Just still yourself enough that you can, where's the tension at, right?
Yeah, like one of the big things that I noticed after or during one of my yoga trainings was, I was cutting dinner and my shoulder was like up by my ears. And I'm like, why am I stressed out right now? Like I'm cutting carrots. Like take a breath and relax. There's nothing stressful in this moment, but it's just becoming conscious of and aware of your habits and your patterns. And once you have awareness, then you can begin to shift and change things because you can, you catch yourself.
I know what that feels like. Like you're wearing your shoulders as earrings is kind of what it is, right? And you don't even realize that you're doing it. There's just so much tension in your back and upper back and your neck and your shoulders. And then you step back and realize, and it's actually a little hard to get those shoulders back down at moments in time, isn't it?
I think so. And also I notice, and I'm so conscious and aware, it's winter in Canada, same thing. You step outside when it's -30, -20, whatever it is outside, and instantly, your shoulders go up. It's like your shoulders become your scarf around your neck. And it's like, just dress for it and relax, like
right.
This isn't anything new. You've grown up.
Yeah, totally. Us Canadian girls, right? We know what it's like to grow up where it's freezing cold, and we just we have to embrace it and know that it's just it happens every year, and we still have to be able to be outside to get some sunshine to find the gift that's in the cold, right? But not huddle in on ourselves in that sense.
No, just finding the best in every moment. And I try to, teach my kids that as well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're like, well, I don't want to. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, I don't control the weather, but like, what can we do with this?
Yeah.
Like it was pouring rain last week in the middle of January. And, it's like, okay, what can we do with this?
Right.
Like just making the most of the moment because that's all you have. So make the most of it.
I totally love it. I think that's a really great way to approach it. Like just what's available here, right? What can we do with this? How can we turn this into something that's really positive and interesting and we could get curious about? And I think when you approach most things like that, you can always find a way to flip that script, right? To make something a little bit better. So I really love that, Ashley.
Oftentimes it ends up even better than what you'd originally planned, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like it's just, that's just the beauty in it is, releasing the control and expectation and just allowing things to be and surrendering to the moment. And then it ends up oftentimes just being that much more magical and magnificent.
Yes, I love it. Magical and magnificent. Those are great words. Ashley, I ask all my guests, sort of what does leadership mean to you? or how do you lead? Like you lead some clients that are in a really sensitive place in their life. They're desperate to have a baby. How do you lead those special women?
I think that I truly have a compassionate and empathetic heart. And I really just lean into that and just create a safe, sacred space for them, because they don't have to pretend that they're okay when they're not,
Uh,
like, you know, embrace whatever emotions are showing up for you and honor them instead of holding everything in. I didn't talk about it. I didn't let anybody in. No one knew I was struggling with infertility
yeah.
because I didn't share it. And it doesn't, silence doesn't serve you. It hurts you, in so many ways. And that's why I feel like it's so important to just give them a voice, just let them be with their emotions and their feelings, you know, move through some breathing practices, offer them Reiki, just offer them healing modalities when maybe they can't or don't feel like doing them for themselves. And then, move from there and do more active types of things when they are trying, and lift their energy, lift their vibration, and then when they're waiting and they're in that sort of anxious place, then offering, moving from fight or flight mode into rest and digest mode, and just allowing things to be and to come out of fight or flight mode, because we are all in fight or flight mode right now in this pandemic. I don't think anybody really realizes how, this is affecting our nervous system, and it's just been like a prolonged stress, at varying degrees.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. And I think that's why we are all sort of collectively so tired, because we have been in that state of anxiety, of anxiousness, of heightened response for such a prolonged period of time. And I can imagine that wouldn't be completely dissimilar from, someone who is really on a fertility journey, that you would be in that sort of same space during that fertility, and then add COVID to that, right? Like,
I
um,
know.
that
Like,
would
I
be
really feel
difficult.
for women because, I wasn't trying to conceive during a pandemic, but it's
Uh,
just that added layer and that added stress
mhm.
and, possible cancellations or
Yeah,
delays in appointments and procedures and all the rest of it. And it's just this big waiting game. And
yeah,
just, thinking that, okay, I can't do anything, but you can, your happiness, your fertility, your everything starts within and moves from there. So
yeah,
there's so many things, and it's just empowering them to see that in themselves. They're worth, they're already this invested. It's worth, putting yourself first, making your health and your well-being your number one priority.
yeah, totally. Totally. Well, Ashley, I really love that message. I love that message of put yourself first. And I think that is true, particularly if you're on a fertility journey. But I think for so many of us that are female founders or female entrepreneurs, we do struggle with finding that space to put ourself first. And I say to my clients, you're not serving anyone if you're exhausted and burnt out and overwhelmed and like sleep deprived, and you're not serving anybody, including yourself, if you are not caring and nurturing and looking after yourself in a way that feels, charges your battery, right? Like, that's really important. So I really appreciate hearing you say that too.
Definitely. That has been, I did put myself when my twins were little on the back burner,
Uh,
there wasn't enough time and energy to do things for myself. And then when I got to a space and place where I was like, hey, I'm just going to start going to karma yoga like once a week. And that, one little thing for myself once a week turned into so much more and brought in so much more when I actually didn't put myself last anymore and realized, I matter too.
Yeah.
But, I had so much guilt thinking, no, but I wanted these twins so much. Like, I need to do everything and be everything for them. And, it's not the truth. So breaking through that limiting belief too, and realizing, I was hurting myself and wasn't able to show up in the way I wanted to always either.
Totally. Yeah. You want to be everything and do everything for everyone else, but how are you going to do that when you're in bed sick, right? Or when it's the truth. So I think you're absolutely right. And, I think all of us have some of that guilt, have some of that belief in our head. And we really need to rethink that, right? And it starts small. You start small. I love it. One yoga class once a week, right? You can do one small thing that will help you sort of shift that perspective that you have to be everything to everyone all the time. You have to sacrifice everything you are and you have and you love. And so I really appreciate you, sort of offering that, just one small thing. So Ashley, thank you again for spending some time with me, for being a guest here. I absolutely love everything we talked about today. It was really, really powerful stuff.
Yes,
so thank you so much for sharing. And I want to say that if you're a listener and you are struggling with fertility, or someone that is, we're going to make sure that we have contact information. You can reach out to Ashley and connect with her, because she will do a wonderful job supporting you in that journey and helping you get your mind, your body, and your spirit all lined up, all ready to receive that baby that you really want. So thanks again. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to be here.
To everyone tuning in today, thanks again for listening to the Female Founder Friday podcast. I really love Ashley's belief that you don't have to be okay all the time to be your best self. It's certainly something that I subscribe to. You can find out more about Ashley and what she does as a fertility coach on Instagram, and her handle there is at Ashley_Holmes3202. And of course, you can find me on Instagram, and my handle is at High Volt Leadership. The Female Founder Friday podcast has a goal to impact 1,000 listeners, and it would mean the world to me if you left this episode a 5-star review and shared it with all of your friends. Let's engage 1,000 female entrepreneurs and really amplify the message. Thank you again for being a great part of this show, and don't forget to connect with me at highvoltageleadership.ca.